Hello again. So the first blog that I'm going to read to you is my most recent blog titled When Time Stood Still. This is just regarding the last few months for our family, finding out that my husband Ryan needed brain surgery. So I'm planning to just read it start to finish, and I would love your feedback at the end. If I need to speak up, slow down, enunciate, shut up altogether, you let me know, okay? But I do hope you enjoy. When Time Stood Still. I finally had a moment to sit down and take in all that these last few months have thrown our way. It was all such a whirlwind once our world got turned upside down. Ryan had his first MRI on December 2nd, 2020, and 19 days later, he was going under for his first surgery. Exactly 1 month after that, he was going under for brain surgery. Writing this now just makes me extra appreciative that I am talking about it in past tense. On one hand, it felt like we didn't have time to take a breath before everything started happening. On the other hand, the anticipation of everything that was to come made time stand still. The time between the surgeries might as well have been a lifetime. We were told that the first surgery, replacing his herniated disc, was a standard surgery with a quick recovery time. When the recovery for the first surgery did not feel quick or easy for Ryan, I think we both started to panic. Wasn't this supposed to be the easy recovery? What's the next one going to be like if this one doesn't feel easy at all? The surgeons tried to reassure Ryan by explaining that going in and replacing the disc on that first surgery could possibly disrupt and irritate what was already going on in his brain. And it certainly did. When the surgeons went ahead with the brain surgery, the placement of his brain in his spinal canal was lodged further down than the first MRI showed. From a medical standpoint, however, his surgeries were very successful. Everything went as planned during the procedures, and the doctors were pleased with the outcome. In my mind, I thought once we got word that he had woken up from his second successful surgery, I could breathe a sigh of relief. The hard part was over. Wow, was I wrong. Anxiously pacing the hospital for the nurse to call and tell me that Ryan had woken up from his 5-hour brain surgery took years off of my life. I was running up and down stairs to pass the time, and I didn't even care that I looked like a full-blown lunatic. I couldn't sit still without thinking of the worst possible outcome. When I finally did get the call that he was in recovery and waking up, all of my worries disappeared. From surgery, Ryan went straight back to the ICU as planned. They wanted to monitor him closely for the following couple days. After about an hour of hearing that he had woken up, I was able to head back and see him. I've been in plenty of different hospitals throughout my lifetime. More recently, I've been there for happy reasons, like welcoming the birth of our babies. As I walked in through the doors of the ICU, I was instantly hit with a very different and overwhelming feeling than that of welcoming babies into the world. Hospitals are like a time warp. You can walk inside any given hospital and are taken from reality to a memory within the blink of an eye. I was walking into an ICU that I had never been before, but it might as well have been the ICU located in my hometown when I was a terrified 17-year-old. That memory buried deep in my unconscious came flooding back in. The glass walls outside each room were the same. The smells were the same. The weight of it all was the same. It was like I had been there before. Seeing Ryan for the first time was another shock to the system. He was in pain I had never seen before in real life. Because they had to cut open the back of his head, they were cutting through a lot of muscle. He couldn't move at all without having a severe muscle spasm. The doctors and nurses did everything in their power to make him as comfortable as possible. They even let me stay in the room with him that first night. Usually there are no visitors allowed to stay the night. Ryan ended up being in the ICU for 5 days. As scary as that sounds, I'm so thankful he was able to be there that long. Nurses are angels on earth. From the nurse in the operating room who called me every hour on the hour of Ryan's surgery to keep me updated, to the nurse who changed Ryan's bed positioning a million different times until he was semi-comfortable. We are forever indebted to all of them. They were one of the highlights of this whole experience. The other major highlight was when everything fell perfectly into place for the kids to be able to see Ryan at the hospital. The kids and I drove to the hospital with my mom and stepdad so they could visit him. We knew that the kids were not allowed in the ICU, so it was mostly just a visit for my mom and stepdad. When my stepdad was back visiting with him, the physical therapists were with Ryan trying to encourage him to take a couple steps. Up until that point, he had only stood up to use the restroom and was apprehensive to do much more. Ryan soon found out that the kids were with me and my mom in the waiting area outside of the ICU. I happened to be in the hallway when my stepdad came running out, saying that Ryan was going to walk down the ICU hallway so the kids could see him. What? Ryan was going to walk? Sure enough, when Ryan heard that the kids were outside, he told the nurses, "You can get me to do anything if it means I get to see my kids." We all waited outside of the doors of the ICU for a moment I will never forget. The kids were able to see their dad in all of his glory. They were able to see their hero in his most heroic moment. It was incredible. Ryan has been home for a few weeks now and is off all of his major pain meds. While each day brings a new set of challenges, he is making so much progress along the way. The nurse that discharged us said that he would have good days and bad days, and that has definitely been the case. He has been able to rest a lot and slowly heal. This experience has taught me a lot. It's also showed me how much I couldn't survive without the support from all of you. Our support system showed up for us in a way I have never felt before. Things like words of encouragement, food delivery gift cards, full-blown gourmet food packages, and presents to keep the kids busy were just some of the ways you helped get us through. Other people literally showed up for us and helped take care of the kids in the house while Ryan was in the hospital and healing. My mom is my hero. She and my stepdad flew in and saved the day on more than one occasion when we were in the hospital. Ryan's best friend then flew in from Alaska to come stay with us for a week and help take care of everything. It was a much smoother transition for our family because of their selflessness. And now here we are. I could write a novel on these last few months alone, but I will spare you for today. The best part of this whole experience was that I got my Ryan back. He has unknowingly been suffering with Chiari malformation for a while, and today he gets a fresh start. I've already noticed a big change in his personality, which has surprised me in the best way. It's almost like a weight has been lifted and he feels lighter, happier, healthier. Oh, and 30 years young. He got to enjoy his 30th birthday in the ICU. I'm sure not many can say that. Happy birthday, my love. Here is to brighter days ahead. Thank you guys so much for listening and following my journey so far. I really, really appreciate it. And I would love to hear what you thought of today. And thank you again. I hope you have a good day.